Um,
And we're live!
well, are we?
Yeah, we are live.
Apparently.
Welcome
Ah,
Alright, man. Yeah, come on, man.
welcome to the Master Toons podcast for the 15th of May 2015. Jack is your host tonight. We're also featuring the return of the grand, attractive, handsome hero that everybody loves. Me, David Moore. And we also have George Baum, and Kazan Samnali might be joining us at some point in the future. We don't know. He might be having a life at the moment.
I like your headpiece here. You just sit back and be like, ah.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
that's what I've done. I've just moved my couch so I can see my monitor when I'm sat on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, so tonight, folks, there is fuckloads of news and huge news. We've got the smallest thing from the news about Digimon to the big stuff like Harvey Shearer leaving the fucking Simpsons. So we're just gonna work through it, mix it up a bit. And yeah, I've been away for a couple of weeks because I've had work and uni and all that stuff. But that should be going away after this week, so I'll be able to dedicate more time to the show.
Yeah,
Hooray!
he's finally embraced that he has no life like the rest of us.
Anyway, so I think let's get started on Iron Giant.
Oh yeah,
The Iron Giant news. So
Yeah.
I believe the news there is that it's returning to cinemas. We don't know
Hooray!
we don't know in what form it's going to take yet, but it will be indeed coming to cinemas.
Well, so Brad Bird, who's the director, just needs to know there's an audience for it, because I don't think the Iron Giant made particularly a lot of money. Am I right in saying that? I don't. Even though it was
it's a cool
it's an
classic.
amazing.
It did better on DVD than it did on general release, I believe.
Yeah, but see, I mean, you say it's a cult classic, but I actually think it's one of those films that most people have seen or at least heard of, but it just doesn't get a lot of attention in mainstream media for some reason.
yeah. It's honestly one of the best animated films you'll ever see in your entire life.
Yeah, so Brad Bird says it's going to be, there was going to be a 5-year thing. I was talking about it being in 3D or reformatting it in IMAX. Discussions keep happening, but I think something will happen fairly soon. They know people have a fondness for it. They don't know how to exactly deal with beyond a Blu-ray or something. A Blu-ray would be a fucking good idea, I'll tell you that.
Yes,
Definitely.
You know,
that film would look amazing in 1080p.
So they say do it for Wizard of Oz and Blade Runner. So yeah, I mean it's not really a sequel. Because I personally don't think how there could be a sequel.
Exactly.
But it's trying to bring it back to the modern audience, and I think a Blu-ray version with some behind-the-scenes stuff and some interview with the director and all that stuff would be amazing. What about you guys?
Yeah. I also think it would be a good idea to get out a Blu-ray copy of it as well, since Brad Bird has his upcoming Tomorrowland, which could generate some more buzz about that. If you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. What I'd actually like to see if they do a Blu-ray version is maybe do a kind of special edition box where they include the original Ted Hughes book. Because I don't think a lot of people, I'm not sure about you guys, but when I was at school we studied it, but there doesn't seem to be that many people who've read the original, the Iron Man book.
Oh, really? It was based on a book?
Yeah, the book's
Point proven. The Iron Man by Ted Hughes.
I did not know that.
And it has nothing to do with communism. The Cold War. It's he has to beat a dragon in a competition. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of there's the analogy there, and it also went on obviously to inspire the Black Sabbath song of the same name.
Yes. Yeah. I prefer the film to the book, to be honest.
Same.
Well, yeah, the book's a bit dark and depressing. And
Well, it's not dark and depressing. I mean, like, there's a happy ending, but it's just a bit. It's a bit abstract.
well, it is. But Ted Hughes was a poet by trade, so you know it's going to be a bit flowery.
Sure, yeah. So I mean, like hopefully we'll get to see Iron Man coming back in a Blu-ray or something, and then maybe there'll be a tiny possibility there'll be a sequel. I mean, The Incredibles 2 makes much more sense to do a sequel of, but
Yes,
you
it
never know.
does.
All right, so moving on. So let's go to Ratchet and Clank.
Hooray!
Now, Ratchet and Clank is a very famous video game series. It's a platform series where you play as Ratchet and Clank, obviously.
Yeah.
And Sony, I don't know, like, I think this is, I'm right in saying, like, this has sort of died down a bit, but I think, like, the last couple of years, there's been, like, loads of talk about making movies based on video games and trying to get them out.
Yes, Sony seems to be buying up rights for them left, right, and centre. I believe they currently have the rights for Sonic. They're looking at acquiring Mario rights.
They've got Uncharted. There was talk about being a BioShock movie, another Tomb Raider movie.
Well, Uncharted's owned by Sony anyway. So
yeah.
Same
But I mean,
as
like,
Ratchet and Clank.
And I actually believe the BioShock movie was actually canceled due to production problems with Gore Verbinski, the original director, going over budget.
Well,
Which
yeah,
really
that's
which really fucking sucks, because I would pay so much money to see a BioShock movie directed by him.
You know, the issue is with that though is BioShock's all about the illusion of choice, and that's going to be difficult to communicate in the form of a movie. I mean, cause you don't have the player input, you don't have them being given the illusion of choice. Then you're just along for the ride, no matter what.
Exactly, I guess.
So I don't think that, as cool as it'd be, I don't think that'd work. On the other hand, the BioShock Infinite movie, so it's a fairly linear game for the most part.
yeah.
That'd be interesting. Well, anyway, back to Ratchet and Clank.
But, I mean, like, the chances of a movie based on a video game actually being made is like, you know, it's like when it comes out, it's like the sperm that reaches the egg to fertilize it, like all the millions of sperm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I see it, because like you constantly see like this video game's been made into a movie, and then nothing.
Exactly. And probably one of the many reasons why they haven't made that many video games movies is because a good amount of them really fucking suck.
That is true.
Again, I think that's just more. Really, a lot of directors tend to, and studios, they tend to see video games as something they're in competition with. So I won't be surprised if that's either intentional kibosing or directors just going, oh, it's a children's thing, just show them some tits and guns.
Yeah, go on.
That's how the Tomb Raider movies really were. It's tits and guns.
I enjoyed those movies though.
Well, don't get me wrong, they're good fun, but they are dumb as shit.
Yeah.
And they're really not representative of the Tomb Raider games, which were tits and puzzles more than tits and guns.
Why do you want to watch a movie just called Tits and Puzzles?
It's my upcoming freemium mobile game. Keep an eye out for it.
I would actually make me go out and get a phone just to play that. Anyway, back to Ratchet and Clank.
Anyway, yeah, back to Ratchet and Clank. So, I mean, there's already like a teaser and a trailer out for it.
Which was it was announced back in 2013, I believe, and it's been kept under the wraps by Insomniac and Rainmaker for a while now. I'm not entirely sure why is the thing as well, because they were very optimistic about it, and then it just kind of disappeared for a while.
I mean, it's not even out until next year, so I mean, I want to see more, but
yeah, I think the way they look at it was the initial teaser was just more proof of concept, and you know, I think that we're going to see a major hype build up, because I imagine it will be a summer next year movie. They're not going to want that to come out Christmas season. And
yeah, definitely.
But anyway, let's get to the actual news, and then we'll dissect it a bit. They've announced. So we already knew that James Arnold Taylor and the guys playing Quark and Dr. Nefarious and Clank were going to be in this movie. And
it was also being helmed by the game's original writers as well.
Yeah. But on board now is Sylvester Stallone, which is just crazy. Paul Giamatti, who
which is fucking amazing.
Yeah. John Goodman. What the fuck?
Does that mean there's going to be nonjus?
And Bella Thorne and Rosie Johnson, who I don't know who they are.
Bella Thorne was on that god awful Shake It Up show on Disney Channel.
I recognise Rosie Dawson. Yeah, she's been in loads of stuff.
Rosario Dawson, yeah.
I don't know Bella Thorne at all, but whatever.
No, we only watch good TV here.
Yeah, I mean,
you like to get all the good stuff.
So that's really cool. I mean, I wonder who they're going to play. I know that I think Paul Giamatti's going to play Drek, who was played by
perfect casting.
He was originally played by
David Michael Richardson in the original game.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Actually, no. I recently got a PS3 for Christmas, and I one of the games I got with it in the coming couple of months is the Ratchet and Clank HD collection, and I played through most of them.
But do we know? So I'm not 100% sure if it's been announced or whatnot yet. It's based on the original games or on the future series.
It's hold on, I got this. It's going to be kind of like a reboot, a film version of the first game. So it's going to be about them meeting Clank, him meeting Clank and stopping Dreg. But tied into it is going to be Dr. Nefarious, Quark, and the Troopers, who weren't in it to the third game. And also, there's going to be a new Ratchet and Clank game coming out, which is going to be a remake of the first game. Not like a HD remaster, a whole remake. Which means it looks like the game is going to be based on the film, which is going to be weird.
Well, that's actually going to be good, because going back to replay the first game on the HD collection, I'm sure George will agree with me, you realise how much like shit it controlled.
Yes.
It wasn't necessarily like the controls that bothered me. It was like more how fucking unplayably hard it could be at times. Seriously, fuck that final level.
It's unplayably hard because the controls are a mess.
It's clunky, I'd say.
Yeah.
And the camera's poor, and like you need like a certain gun to do something, but like every NPC in the game just like leeches your money. It's like, oh, you want me to open his bridge? 50,000 bolts, please. It's like, no.
Ratchet and Clank on the planet of Dew. Hey! I'm the one getting us in trouble with Tumblr this week.
There goes one. It's a good thing that Ross isn't here.
What? Black British people? They're not real.
Anyway, getting back to Ratchet and Clank. So I'm a bit worried about how good this movie is going to be, because the writers are really good for the whole game. It's always been funny, but it's by a relatively brand new studio, production and animation studio. I have no idea who. Apparently, the director is being. There's two. So there's Kevin Munro, who directed TMNT. I don't know. And co-directed by a woman called Jerica Gleeland, who did a film called Animism, which I know nothing about. I can't find anything.
To be
she's
fair,
a cinematographer. She was the cinematographer, uncredited for Finding Nemo, Arthur Christmas, and Space Chimps.
2 out of 3 is not bad.
No, to be fair, you can say that about Space Chimps. The cinematography was good.
Yeah.
That's about stretching it. Well, that's one of only 2 nice things I have to say about that movie.
And interestingly, the director of this Ratchet & Clank movie coming out will also be directing Sly Cooper, the movie coming out based on that.
That's good. It's really awesome, actually.
Yeah. I mean, so what do you guys think? Is this going to be good? Like, do you like the voice cast?
Yeah, I love the voice cast. I feel like this could be really fucking good if they pull it off right. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people hated TMNT, but I fucking loved it. And I love Art for Christmas and Finding Nemo. So I feel like this could be good. And the cast they got is great. I'm glad they brought the original voice actors as well. And the writer they brought on is one of the writers who helmed some of the games. So I'm really hopeful for it. It's been on my radar for months now, and having finally played the games, I cannot fucking wait.
I think my only issue is kind of translating from video game to movie. So in video game, normally it's like 3 to 5 minute cutscenes. You get that up your right and character interaction, and then you're into the whole gameplay element. That's kind of how's he going to translate his writing style from that into a full feature. But to be perfectly honest, so long as Mr. Zircon is in it, I'll be happy.
Mr. Zircon is going to be in it.
Excellent!
I will say, to answer you about the writing, I do agree with you. Like, you do have to write differently for a game to a movie. However, the latest trilogy, like the future trilogy, particularly Crack in Time. I know, George, have you got around to playing that one yet?
Oh yeah, I did. I actually got it about a month ago or so.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing game. Seriously.
Really, really great game. And the writing in it is like, it could easily be made into a movie. Like how the pacing and how like cinematic the cutscenes are.
Yeah.
The level of emotion as well, like that story. Like if they do a sequel, like if this movie is successful, I'd love to see them do a Crack in Time as a movie because it's absolutely
amazing.
It would perfectly translate to a movie. Like,
but as I say, that's still kind of my issue because he is going from short form writing into long form. It's
yeah, it's true. You have to fill up a bit more, but in the game there is actually a lot of dialogue, even when
yeah, there's a lot of banter during gameplay. Yeah,
exactly. And like it still the third one, A Crack in Time, still follows the structure. So kind of like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So like they start to win, and you find more about the characters, the villain's plan, and then the villains seem to have them trapped, and then they fight back, and then they all seem to lost. It's the same kind of like beats. So it would work well as a movie, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah. So that's going to come out in 2016. Expect us to do a review on it when it comes out.
Absolutely. Also, just a quick question. Do we know if in the UK, Sly Cooper is going to be renamed Sly Raccoon?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
For those who don't know, because in some parts of Europe, Cooper is sort of maybe a racial slur, the game's got renamed Sly Raccoon.
Did they actually?
Yes.
Yeah, watch Catacris's retrospective on it.
Yeah, in America it's Sly Cooper. Over in Europe it was renamed Sly Raccoon.
That's fucking ridiculous. I didn't even know Cooper was a racist slur. Like,
I don't think it's a British one. I think it might be one of the other European territories. But if you're translating for the PAL region, then usually make it just universal.
That is ridiculous, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like he's called Jim Crow or something. that would raise some alarm bells.
Definitely.
Jim Crow, the raccoon thief. I can see that going down well. Anyway.
Did you just turn into a sea lion, George?
I shot it.
Oh, so we just got.
Shut it.
So, should we tackle something controversial then?
I think we should.
Yeah. All right. So, A-Force.
The fuck is A-Force?
Oh, okay, I'll explain. So there's this whole push to give female characters more prevalence in the comics. You know, try and push them more, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, you know, as long as you got great writers on, it's like characters that haven't seen, you know, maybe not so much time as they could, like getting the time. So maybe get some, you know, like Spider-Gwen, for example. I've heard Spider-Gwen's very good. Stuff like that. So, like, part of this trend, part of this effort, there's going to be a comic book series coming out called A-Force, which is basically the Avengers, but exclusively filled with women. I think She-Hulk is going to be in charge. And it's like, okay,
Oh, wow.
you know, sisters doing it for themselves, whatever. And apparently, let me just get that article. Yeah. So the art that's been released for the first comic has been criticised by Jill Lauper, who's looking at female superheroes with a 10-year-old boy. Editorial appeared in the New Yorker last week, and she claims that it's basically they look like porn stars. Now, have you seen the art? Sorry.
Yes.
I have not. I'll look at it right
I'll
now.
link it. It's right there. Right.
All right.
I mean, never mind the
Right.
fact that this is like one feminist criticizing another one, right? So like a feminist drew the art, or it's her comic, whatever, and this other feminist it's just, I mean, even that aside, just look at it. Like, does that look like?
I'm trying to look at it right now. No, that's not sexist at all.
So they're just like so She-Hulk is doing this. Other characters are just doing the generic action pose, you know, like arms out like that, or you know, stand like that. It's like
There's nothing.
if this was a
There's nothing
porno,
wrong with it.
I don't think people would know it's a porno. Like, you know, there's no cleavage. Well, there's a bit of cleavage. But...
Yeah, I mean, like it's.
Maybe she's mistaking the A for. Maybe she thinks the A stands for ass.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What does the A actually stand for? Actually.
It's the Avengers Day. It's a subset of the Avengers.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, this is pretty funny. So, so Wilson, who is the co-writer of this series, G. Willow Wilson, she says to this Dr. Lepore, who criticized it, so she does this really great criticism of what she said, and then goes to say, I've been a bit cheeky so far, so let me close by saying that I imagine Dr. Lepore and I want the same thing, better, more nuanced portrayals of women in pop culture. What I don't understand is why someone in her position would, from her perch 1,000 feet up in an ivory tower, take pot shots of those who are in the trenches doing exactly that. I mean, that's
It's a fucking cover! Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, that's a perfect response.
We should get the doctor some ice for that.
I'm sorry, I cannot fathom the amount of stupidity I just heard. That's not stupidity. I'm part of my range. That is straight up mentally retarded thinking. You have to be that level of stupid to think that.
I mean, like,
fuck. Oh my god, I heard feminists were stupid, but Jesus Christ!
George, shh. Calm. Yep. Woosa.
I just want to give you a quote from Dr. Lepore. She says that she remarked that all the characters look like porn stars, and that maybe it's not possible to create reasonable female comic book superheroes since their origins are so tangled up with magazines for men.
Oh my god.
So basically, this is a doctor studying comic books who has no idea of the creation of how Wonder Woman came about. That's a convoluted story, let me tell you. For those who don't know, the Cliff Notes version is she was created by a male sex-positive feminist in the 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What the hell? What?
Wonder Woman is the original feminist superhero icon.
It's true, yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I think it just goes to show that people will just complain about anything. Like, to me, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you're a feminist, whether, like, I'll judge you on what you say and the content of your work. Like, you know, Joss Whedon, like, you know, the feminist, but makes really great stuff, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
but, like,
Tim Schafer, fucking moron, but God, do I love his games.
Yeah, and, like, you know, and whatever you believe, like, you know, like, if you think, you know, women need to be more action roles, or, you know, men need to be smarter, or children need to be able to fly more, any old shit, I mean, you can complain all you want, but, you know, to actually have a change, you've got to be like, okay, let's make something, you know. You got to take that step, and just to shit on someone who's doing that, it's like...
Well, you know what it is, and I think we've...
Fuck you, hands on.
Yeah. You know what it simply is, though. It's a lot of these articles. Because comic books and nerd culture are currently the big mainstream thing. What's the easiest way to get clickbait? Gee, what big film came out a couple of weeks ago? This doctor's looking to make a name for herself publishing an article. Why not attack the new feminist superhero books? Because, hey, that's a good way to generate clickbait. That's the issue. If you break it down, a lot of what these people say isn't that bad. All she's saying is, you know, oh, I'd like to see more superheroines who aren't dressed in clingy lycra and latex. That in of itself is not an offensive thing. I agree. You know, let's get some practical dress wear in here. But it's the way they say it that's the issue.
Yeah.
As addressed by G. Willow Wilson. You know, it's very easy to make these snarky, critical comments when you sat up in the ivory tower, or, you know, actually go do something about it. Make a product, prove it can be successful. Hell, I'm sure there are plenty of indie studios. Or hell, just publish it as a webcomic on Tumblr, for fuck's sake. You just get you. It's not like there is no way to get material out there. If you're unhappy with the material available for you, make what you want, because it's not like there's any big barrier to entry anymore, and Jesus Christ, a webcomic's proof of that.
Yeah, I mean, even if it, like, sucks, it's gonna get, like, kind of that buzz going anyway, like, oh, that guy's trying and I want to do it, and I could do it better, you know? Like...
Yeah.
I mean, we're all critics here, like, we complain quite a lot, but, like, I don't think we just take pot shots at people unnecessarily.
Fuck no! I'm a critic myself! Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ, George. I think you need a hearing aid now. Fuck.
I cannot stand, like, people being this fucking stupid. It's reasons like this is why I gave up on humanity years ago. I'm only 17 and I already given up on this world.
George, the issue is she's not being stupid. Like I said before, she's being very smart. She wants to get her critical paper noticed. She wants to study this more. How do you get funding at the moment? Well, you make it an issue. How do you make it an issue at the moment? What's popular at the moment? You make something clickbaity. Of course you make something clickbaity.
I hate thinking like that.
Gawker Media will be all over that shit, because people will click through from several different sites. Oh, Gawker, they get their ad money, which is why if you visit Gawker sites, turn on ad block, people. But, yeah.
Shit like this. I despise shit like this. I loathe shit like this.
You can despise it all you want, but at the end of the day, it is effective marketing for getting your thoughts and opinions out there. I mean, hell, I've been considering for ages writing a fake feminist blog talking about how men with long hair are anti-women because it's making women feel inferior. You know. But the problem is at the moment we've got a reactionary internet full of special little snowflakes, and this is how they get their kicks. Because they want to shit on what's popular because it gets them the negative attention they crave.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, all I can say is like, there's nothing wrong with the cover. I mean, the cover's got some cool characters on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might check it out. But you know, it's not even been released. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a page where they're all just having sex. In a pile.
It's like this massive orgy of superheroes on like a massive pile, like in that South Park episode.
Yeah, but I can see that on e-hentai anytime. What I want to see is them fighting supervillainesses via sexy lingerie pillow fights.
I mean, if that happens, you can complain, Dr. Lepore, but until then, shut your fucking trap.
Yeah, you know, let's stand on the ball. That'd be Dr. Appalling. Oh, shots fired.
Anyway, so, shall we move on then, yeah?
Alright then.
So, carrying on with the superhero news, let's go for X-Men.
Yes.
So I've only just seen it, so apparently, the X-Men film franchise is expanding. Josh Boone, who I don't really know who he is signed on to direct and co-write The New Mutants while sharing a title with the Marvel comic that debuted in '82. I don't really know what characters are going to be in it.
I've never even heard of it.
No, neither do I.
I have, along with X-Force, Excalibur, and what have you. It's just one of numerous X-Men spin-offs. There's like half a dozen at least at any one time.
And yeah, Josh Boone directed The Fault in Our Stars, which I heard was decent.
Yeah, if you like saccharine bullshit. Although I did really like that Charlie XCX song for it.
But yeah, I mean, like, so apparently there's some trainers in it, so you're gonna have Magneto and Professor X and Cable as trainers, wherever that means, and some really stupid superhero names. They've got Bird Brain, Boom Boom, Domino, Magic with a K, Shatterstar, my favourite, Skids. Skids.
George, you're groaning, but remember we're talking about characters that came about in the 80s.
But no one's heard of these characters. It's not like Marvel where they've got like...
Boom, I've heard of some of them, like Boom Boom's actually had several names. The most recent thing I read her in was Next Wave Agents of Hate. Oh, I can't remember what the character name was in that. But she appeared in that, which, by the way, if you ever get a chance to read Next Wave, I highly recommend it. It is the most silliest shit Marvel has ever put together, and it is glorious.
Okay.
Sold.
But yeah, X-Men Colossus.
I mean, there's not a lot to say. I mean, it's just like further feeding the oversaturation of superhero movies. With
Pretty much.
A bunch of superheroes no one cares about.
To be fair, though, I think that's more down to Fox and DC's approach. So I think Disney and Marvel Studios have done the quite clever thing of each superhero movie is shot like it's a separate genre. It's got a superhero character in it, but it's not. They're not all identifiable as being one specific genre. Like Iron Man's a sci-fi action film. Thor's this epic fantasy adventure. Captain America was a World War II kind of cliche period funny thing, and then a great spy thriller. But DC and Fox seem to handle them all. It's always very much the same. It's always big bombast. There's no real subtlety to it. It's just It's generically comic booky, is what I'd say.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see. We don't know a lot about it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we do have more superhero news, but I think we'll come back to it in a bit. So I want to talk about Digimon Adventure Try. I mean, I'm sure David, you know some stuff about this. So I mean,
are you implying I'm some kind of that ponytailed, stubbled otaku nerd?
weeaboo.
And not a weeaboo, Jesus Christ. I walk around in a fucking Naruto headband going, believe it!
So yeah, I mean, Digimon Try. I mean, what we already know is going to be a direct sequel to the original series, Digimon Adventure, set 6 years after blah blah blah, and then 17.
Off point, the Digimon Try is retconning out Digimon 02, the second series, but don't expect to see characters like Davis and whatnot in this. It's just the original.
What?
Yeah.
It's retconning the second one?
Yeah, it's retconning the second series out of existence. That's just a parallel universe now. Everything after the first series is a parallel universe. This is the direct continuation now. So,
It's fucking stupid.
What the fuck? I didn't know that.
Well, no, I don't think it's that stupid, because it's giving them a blank slate to revisit these characters rather than going, right, well, we've got to factor in this lot of continuity as well.
Well, it's not a lot. It's not a lot of continuity. The only thing really is like at the end of the second series, everybody knows about Digimon, and then there's like ambassadors between worlds and stuff, because all the other series have nothing to do with that universe. Like in the follow-up, I think Digimon Trainer or whatever, that Digimon is like fake. Like everybody knows, like it's a comic book or whatever. So,
but I believe in Cross Wars. That's a continuation of the main continuity, and I think some of the other series after Tamers is also a continuation.
yeah, it's confusing. But anyway, I didn't know that. I didn't know it would be completely a fresh thing. I was just going to say that they've announced it's going to be a series of 6 movies.
Yeah.
Which sounds mental to me. I mean, how can you make 6?
Very easy. There are currently 17, I think, Pokemon movies, 15 One Piece movies. We're about to get the 15th Dragon Ball Z movie. 6 for an anime movie franchise is not a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, like, are they gonna? Maybe I don't know for the power. I'm just thinking, like, where can they go? Like, they can only combine so many forms of Digimon. I bet in the last movie, like, every single Digimon in the whole universe combined into one thing to fight this bad guy. You know, that's the only direction it could possibly go.
Not necessarily. It can do. I mean, with them wiping the slate clean, it means that basically all previously established rules are thrown out now. So everything's going to be brand spanking new. So that offers up a lot of creativity, but I don't think it's quite that bad. I mean, you wouldn't think there'd be much you could do with the Evangelion remake movies, but the third movie just goes, you're like, yeah, it's Evangelion, they introduce this new character, and then it just completely shifts. It just goes off whatever you were expecting to start doing its own thing, which I think worked. And again, that's a movie series that's pushing, and Carson's about to join us, into its
Carson! What the fuck is on your head?
Whatever you do, guys, don't make a 9/11 joke. Don't make a 9/11 joke.
Must resist the 9/11 joke. Must resist.
All I'm now thinking is Haji from Johnny Quest, and I feel like a racist scumlord for doing that.
Alright,
My
Carson.
apologies.
We're just finishing talking about Digimon Tri. We haven't talked about Supergirl or The Legend of Tomorrow yet, which I know you are keen on. So yeah, okay. So what I'm gonna do, I think we'll finish off Digimon. Thanks for telling me about David. It's given me some more hope for that project. Yeah.
It's as I say, this isn't unusual in anime production. What they're doing, this happens quite a lot, so nothing to worry about.
Okay, wicked.
Hold on,
Alright, so
stop pushing it back. Fucking
Alright,
November.
So we're gonna get into Supergirl now. Now that Carson's here. Are we ready?
I'm always ready.
Here, Georgie's screaming. Oh,
Okay. So, Supergirl. May have heard it's an upcoming American TV series that's going to be airing on CBS, not CW, as Arrow and the Flash, another show, is going to be. Which is a shame, in my opinion. That could have been really cool. So it's going to be a series about Supergirl, and so she is. Sorry, to just get to speed. So, like, when she was 12, she was sent away from Krypton like Superman, and now she's 24, and she has to step up to the plate and actually start using her powers and be a hero at age 24. And yeah, and she learns all the stuff that you know, same life lessons and everything. And there was and there was a 6-minute video teaser, revealer, whatever you want to call it, that came out, and it got very mixed reactions. I think when you watch it, it's basically the first half is The Devil Wears Prada with Supergirl.
That is exactly what I said to George when I was watching it earlier.
Yeah.
I said to him, it's this Supergirl or Devil Wears Prada.
I think that everybody came to this conclusion independently, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I was watching Angry Joe talk about it, and his mate just says it's The Devil Wears Prada with Supergirl, and it's exactly that.
Yeah, even my friend who has never seen Devil Wears Prada was like, "That's a lot like Devil Wears Prada."
Yeah.
I've never seen Devil Wears Prada, but yeah, it's.
And
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, and then the trailer just like shifts, and then suddenly she's like rescuing a plane, and then she's fighting like an alien. It's like, oh, okay, wow, okay, this is cool. So it's just like this weird juxtaposition of tones, and then there's this other stuff which we're gonna get into. So I did do
the shouty girl rock. Oh, the shouty girl rock.
So like I did do like a little criticism about it, stuff I liked and I didn't like. So I'm gonna let you guys have the floor. I'm just gonna go get my charger downstairs. So I'm just gonna say, what do you think, and then do your thing. So who wants to go first? Anyone?
Captain, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
Alrighty.
This will be fun.
I think we've kind of established now that it's Devil Wears Prada with Supergirl, and
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that aspect of it very much. I just think it's a little like safe, I guess, which isn't always bad, but it's just kind of lame. But I like the actress that they have playing Supergirl. I forget her name, but like she was on Glee, and she was in Whiplash, I think.
That was the girl from Whiplash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she's a pretty good actress, and she's kind of just like, you know, she has this like sweetness to her that I think lends itself well to Supergirl. Well, I mean, a certain version of Supergirl that they're obviously going for. And the action in it, I liked. I don't know. It seems kind of quaint, which is fine, but I don't know. There's just something off about it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it looks a bit too kind of sugary sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The action's in there, but it all seems we've not got any sense of kind of any overlooking danger or any kind of mystery to solve. It just seems all a bit fluffy.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that Smallville, whatever you want to say about it, did kind of well. Is like there was always something to like find out. There was always something lurking in the background that gave it kind of a weight to the series.
Well, that's what I always advise anyone with watching Smallville. You can skip the first 2 seasons because it's effectively DLC with a Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
But from season 3 onwards, it started really getting into in-depth stories and these big, long story arcs. I think works really well.
Yeah, and I think we could see the same thing happen here, where after like maybe a season or 2, it starts to move away from the Devil Wears Prada isms and goes more into the mythos of Supergirl. And I think that's just kind of something that TV shows in general suffer from, is having like crappy first seasons or first couple of episodes at least. Like even the Arrow, I didn't like Arrow's first season basically.
I don't know anyone who liked its first season.
Yeah, but once you power through it, it gets pretty wicked after that. And I mean, personally, I loved Smallville.
Never seen it.
I will actually say you're missing out there, George. But as I say, watch from Series 3 because you're really not missing much with the first 2.
Alright, then.
Yeah, I mean, even the first 2, not to go into a discussion about Smallville, but like even the first 2, there's still something to it, like the tone is very interesting, I find. Like Bug Boy is kind of like a weird, like it's very dark in some points, but anyhow. And like the relationship between Lex Luthor and Clark is interesting, I think. But anyhow, bit of a digression. Another thing about Supergirl that like I don't really get is how like Superman is like present in their world, but like there are 2 things. One, I'm interested to see like where he is in his superhero career, like because he seems pretty established. And the other thing is like why he communicates with, or it seems that he communicates with Kara through Jimmy Olsen, instead of just like kind of being there. Like I want to see how they kind of go about that, because there are obvious reasons why he's not in the show outside of its continuity, but like within its continuity, like why isn't Superman like, hey Carol?
I made a comment on the Facebook page. I don't know if you saw it, and it's just basically, I think it's pretty smart. It just solves the Superman problem. Just like have him, so he flies off to a mission to find more survivors of Krypton, and then that's it. He's in the show without you having to use his character, right? So it's not like Superman doesn't exist. Superman exists, but there's a reason why he doesn't show up to do things.
Right. Exactly.
And if you want the Jimmy Olsen as like the go-between, you can still have that. Like Superman, before he left, he wanted me to give you this, or whatever.
Yeah, that makes perfect
far
sense.
more sense.
Why didn't they do that?
Well, we don't know if it didn't do that.
and it puts more of a burden on Supergirl. Like, you know, there's no Superman. She's all by herself now, at least like power-wise. Like, she's like, you know, the first line of defense, and she doesn't know a lot about being a superhero. So, you know, that's another reason for more pressure for her to step up to the plate and learn, and then become much stronger as a result. I mean,
exactly. Good God, why aren't they doing that?
I mean, so far, like the tone, like that to me, that's what Supergirl is about.
Awful.
Like in the animated version, it was like she was young, inexperienced, and she was trying to learn how to be as powerful as Clark, and which she ends up becoming, like, you know, later on. Like, she matures, and then that's really nice tied up. I mean, all this seems to be is like, it's Superman, but a girl, and it doesn't mean she's any less weak because she's a girl. You know.
I am getting fucking sick of seeing that in like female-related superheroes, especially if, like, okay, I know this is like a bit off topic, but I just got back from seeing Mad Max Fury Road. I'm not joking when I say that had easily some of the best female characters I have ever seen in any blockbuster. You wanna know why? They were powerful, they did badass shit, but they weren't smarky about it. Like, you look at this, you look at other female, like, empowering shit, they're all like, oh, we don't need men, we can do it on our own. No, just, you don't need to constantly remind us of that you're independent. Just do shit! Show me! Don't tell me!
Yeah, I kind of, like, there is this thing where they try and make characters, like, too perfect, try and like make them like role models and stuff. And actually, exactly as you said, like Fury Road, like the reason why they work, you know, so well as characters is because they're just normal characters. Like, they have strengths and weaknesses, they have flaws, they make mistakes, but they ultimately you know, succeed. You know, while like this Supergirl, like I really want to give it a good chance because it does look like the sci-fi stuff could be really cool, and you know, she does have like all these cool powers, and we get to see in her TV show, you know, like really cool battles and stuff. But I'm kind of worried it's just gonna be like it's like kind of like female empowerment element to it that's just like not done through the actions of the characters, like George said, just like telling like
like there's that one part in the trailer where she's like talking to her her boss, and she's like, why Supergirl? Why not Superwoman? And she's like, you don't like Supergirl?
Who gives a shit who you're called?
Like,
you just the fucking plane!
It's like, I don't get this, like, I mean, this is another reason why, like, I think they cast the character too old, because for a 24-year-old woman to allow herself, I mean, like, yeah, she might be cool with it, but, I mean, it doesn't sound like the character here was cool with it. And I know if, like, at my age, I wouldn't be like to be called Superboy.
No,
unless there was an existing, like, you know, older version, you know, that, I mean, to me that would make sense, because basically I'm just like a micro version, but she's supposed to be her own character. I think if I was in her shoes, I'd be like, I'd fly in with the costume and be like, I'm sorry, I noticed you're calling me Supergirl, and I got nothing against, like, the girl thing, but I'd rather be called Superwoman. Is that okay? And they'd be like,
Superwoman sounds more.
Why does it matter?
And when you really think about it, Superwoman actually sounds a bit more empowering. Like, Supergirl just sounds like a teenage version of gender bend of Superman. Superwoman sounds like an actual, like, strengthening character, someone who rivals Superman.
No,
that's the thing.
It just, again, because the character of Supergirl is effectively tied into Superman so strongly, for the longest time she was never her own character. She was just a young teenage girl Superman. I think that's what this is trying to get across. That's why I think it's smart to cast the older woman, because the last thing we want is just another sophomoric teen drama. The last thing I want to see is, as Carson and I were discussing before, I don't want to see the OC with superpowers. So I think this brings up a challenging dynamic by making the character older and showing her trying to balance her, you know, professional life with being a superhero, but while also not so old that she's entirely sure of herself as a person. It's an incredibly smart choice to allow for personal development and growth of the character. So establishing it as Supergirl, it makes sense because it's a new character, it's a new persona she's coming up with. It is effectively, she is reborn as a girl, she's still young in this.
Yeah, but I mean, I think. I don't know if this is just like a personal thing, but I think how she was acting, like, she was all kooky and she she was shy and stuff. Like, she didn't seem very mature for a 24-year-old. Like,
Name me a 24-year-old female character on TV who does not act like that.
Well, here's my question. Why write her like that? Why not actually give us a strong, independent character and not have her just be this way? Not tipsy, I got no powers.
Well, the thing you gotta understand is like, this is, like, basically the first episode, right, that we saw. They need to give her room to grow. Like,
precisely.
You can't have the character start out as the best possible version of the character. Otherwise, you don't get any character development whatsoever, because they're just like Supergirl Prime. Like, it's.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, like, but I mean, like, she's already got, like, her powers are fully developed. So it's not like with the Flash. Like, the Flash starts out as kind of like shy, but he's still tenacious and stuff. So the seed's already there, and then he gets the powers. Like, Supergirl has had these powers her entire life, and, like, she's fully, like, matured by this point. So it doesn't really make sense why she should be, like, so kind of, like, quirky and nerdy when.
Well, I mean,
And this brings up an interesting point I want to bring up, which is a key central thing that brought up a lot of filmmaking and storytelling teachers bring up. Well, you have to answer, when you're writing a character, you have to ask yourself this question: is this the most interesting point in this character's life? If it's not, why aren't you showing us that? And from the looks of that, they're getting that fucking wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, to me, like, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if it works or not. But at the moment, I think this show would work better as a cartoon series. Like, I know the big companies were like, oh, you can't have a female cartoon because boys won't buy the toys and all that bullshit.
Oh, really? MLP would like a word with you.
Yeah, and Powerpuff Girls. I know, but, like, I'll still go through the companies.
I bought a lot of MLP merchandise. So clearly, you know.
But I mean, like, I think it'd be a really good cartoon show, like, aimed for, around 12, like Justice League, basically. I think that would work really well. I mean, just here, like, it doesn't seem really to work for me, but.
But
anyway.
In the show's defense, and I mean, to a point, I do agree with you. Like, she's a little too, like, I'm so quirky, like, right?
Yeah,
but I mean,
a huge
in the show's defense. What?
There's a huge hipster vibe to the whole thing.
Yeah,
which is annoying
for
as
sure,
shit.
for sure. But in the show's defense, like, as we see with Superman a lot, she's grown up with these powers, but, like, she's so powerful that she can't, like, really be, like, who she is, right? She always has, so she's kind of like an outcast, right? And, I mean, it kind of makes you into a different kind of person, right? So, in the show's defense, there's that aspect to it.
Yeah.
I also
just want
to jump on quickly to George was going on about how the character's presented as weak. What particularly in that trailer made you think she was presented as weak? Well,
it's not necessarily that. It's that she's
as a character, she seemed quite sure of herself and what she wanted, and she came to her own conclusion that that was the lifestyle she wanted. Everything that we saw in the trailer seemed to be pushed forward by her as a character, and not just stuff happening to her. And so if she's going to be driving the plot like that by being proactive, surely that does make her a strong female character.
The problem is it's constantly shoved into your face, and her actions, for the most part, she kind of... I'm more or less talking about the intro of the trailer with the Devils and Wears Parada's bit, where she's kind of like, I'm getting really fucking sick of that as well. Like, why do you need this? Like, I do agree. That's a good point. She is doing stuff that does give her semblance of a good female character. Problem is, It's
Also-
done extremely poorly.
Well, also bear in mind, George, we'll probably see the aggregate of about the first 3 episodes here condensed into 6 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
true, I guess.
If we're talking like 45 minutes per episode, that's like, what, hour and a half? That's like 2 hours, 15 minutes worth of material condensed into 6 minutes. And that's just
That's
showing
another thing. Why in the fuck is this first look nearly 6 minutes long?
because it's
I
the
mean,
first
it's
look,
7
not
minutes
a
long.
trailer. It's the
No,
first
but
look.
there's two. There's two. So like there was this really long like look there, 6 minutes long, and then there's this other trailer which I think is about like 2 or 3 minutes long, which is way better. Like if I had just seen that, I'd be like, okay, I'm interested now. Instead, we get this where I think for me like my problem with it is the way she acts is like how Clark would act when he was a teenager, which is what Supergirl is supposed to be. Again, it's kind of like why it makes more sense as a cartoon because you could change the age and stuff. But I mean, it's not out yet, so like, I'd have to watch it to see. But okay, let's move on a little bit from the character because there's the other controversial thing. Like Carson and George, like you know what I think about it. What they've done to Jimmy Olsen. Who wants to go? Who wants to go? I think our resident minority should have first pop at this.
Well, excellent. Being a descendant... Oh, go on, Carson.
So, I have a bone to pick with Jimmy Olsen right now. Because,
oh, Jesus.
Like, the thing is I don't care if you change a character's race. Like, I don't really think it affects a character at all. I think it's just you pick the best actor for the character, right?
And as long as like the race has nothing to do with the character,
right?
like
You can't have like an Asian Black Panther. Like it's not gonna
precisely.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But that leads me to my next point, right? You have to, as long as the core important elements of the character are there, as long as it's all the core elements are presented, then do whatever you want. You know, like that's part of the reason why I like the Scooby-Doo live-action movies so much, is because the core elements of the characters are there, and then they go off on tangents, right?
Sure, okay. Let it slide.
Put that movie in front of me.
Let it slide.
The problem I have with this Jimmy Olsen is not that he's black, it's that he's extremely attractive and extremely confident, and there's no way that this Jimmy Olsen has any resemblance of the character Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of pissed at Man of Steel because they turned Jimmy into like a girl, and like it was really unnecessary because she wasn't anything like Jimmy. But like, at least if you don't like know about the movie, like you wouldn't notice it. In this, he is like, I am Jimmy Olsen, and I am a hunk, and you will love me, and it just it bugs me so much. Especially because we had such a good Jimmy Olsen in Smallville.
Yeah.
Like, it bugs me so much. Like, they could have got, like, a nerdy black guy. I don't care. Why did they get a hunk? Even if it was a white hunk, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect casting for Black Jimmy Olsen, Richard Ayoade.
Yes, actually. That is actually a genius idea.
For the sake of our American viewers, Moz from the IT crowd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And added on to this, there is a character who's like is like her white male friend, who is more in keeping with Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Like he's a bit quirky but a little bit.
That's the
like,
thing.
it's like what?
The white male friend looks like the guy who played Jimmy Olsen in Smallville.
I just didn't like if you want like like a black character, to tick the race box or something, fine, like cool. But like to do it in this way and just it really puzzled. Like what? Yeah, like why did they just get Richard Ayoade or someone like that to actually like make his
And
character.
the other thing is, like, don't get me wrong. If they had had a black, hunky Jimmy Olsen who is still, like, the personality of Jimmy Olsen, I'd be fine. If he was still, Jimmy Olsen at heart,
Yeah.
I'd let it go. I'd be like, alright, he just, was pumping some iron. It's fine. But, like, nothing like Jimmy Olsen.
He doesn't even dress like Jimmy Olsen. Like,
no, it's not. Like, why even bother calling him Jimmy Olsen?
exactly. Like,
It's true, damn it. I want to see a black hunky guy called Jimmy Olsen in a sweater vest. That's happened.
Hilarious. In fact, why didn't they do that?
yeah, it puzzles me to no end. Why they did that.
And like, it's not even, at least in my mind, the way that I picture it is that they wrote Jimmy Olsen a certain way and then casted the actor to play the role, right? So that means, like, just right from the get-go, they were like, nah, fuck Jimmy Olsen, we're not gonna do it like that. Like,
I mean, the only explanation I can think of is, like, they were, like, social justice warrings. It's like, oh, if we have a black character, we have to make them as, like, desirable as possible, just to make sure we don't offend anybody. Like, that's the only...
Or you could, do this thing called writing a good character.
Well, we don't know if he's going to be a bad character yet. We just know he's going to be a bad Jimmy Olsen.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just going to alienate fans of
I mean, to be fair,
Supergirl and Superman.
It might not even be a social justice issue. It might just be they spent a lot of time reading the website, Superman is a dick, which he is, and thought, right, after all this shit, Jimmy Olsen, he's going to get tough, he's going to get confident, so he's going to make sure Superman ain't ever dragging him into a desert and making him fight Lex Luthor for water.
Okay, I will just say to that, read All-Star Superman, because the writer was like, okay, like, Jimmy in the past have been shown to be, like, a loser, and, like, like, why would Superman be friends with him?
Yeah.
So, when he wrote All-Star Superman, I was like, I'm going to write a character who's in keeping with Jimmy Olsen, but explain, like, why Superman would want to be friends with him. And as a result, you get, like, the core Jimmy Olsen character, but also he's, like, a matured version of, so he is more confident, and he's smart, and he's likable. So they just basically should have taken that character, who would have been great for, like, teaching Supergirl about stuff. Then...
To be fair, though, to be fair to the writers of this, in fact, to be fair to the writers of currently any airing TV series, so I believe it was Grant Morrison who wrote All-Star Superman, and there aren't many writers out there as good as Grant Morrison in any medium at the moment.
That's true. But
I mean, I think that's the other thing. It's like, like, Jimmy Olsen doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm so, like, nerdy that I'm, like, socially inept. Like, that's not who he is. Like, he's confident in who he is.
yeah,
it's just he's not that,
Yeah, very well put. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the brief bit he had, because I've not read the comic, but I've watched the All-Star movie, and I think they did that quite well, where he turns up to the Daily Planet office in the dress and his Superman signal watch goes off. He doesn't give a shit he's in the dress that he's been in for to get a story. He just did what he did to get the story, and it's played very much like that, rather than just as, haha, Jimmy's a loser, look at him in a dress.
Yeah. What other points? They've got, again, just trying to make, like, the female version of Superman in every way, like, so instead of, what's it called, like, Jor-El giving Superman the advice, it's Supergirl's mum, whatever her name is, giving her the advice in the exact same way, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just, like, another parallel.
Well, it is, but that's also kind of established that's how Kryptonian technology works, so...
Yeah. But it'd be nice if they could have done, like, maybe like a slightly different twist, like if it was her, her aunt or like her friend or something, just like a little bit of a different dynamic, but still kind of like the.
Do you mean like her Earth mom or her Krypton?
No, like
a Krypton mom.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
They're like a Krypton character, but like just like a different dynamic there, rather than like nearly the same dynamic, like father to son and mother to daughter. It's just like another parallel.
Yeah, and like the other thing is like, I mean, it kind of doesn't really make sense because like the way that the Kryptonian society is set up in like every medium, well, everything that I've ever seen, and including this world, like it's such a patriarchy, like a strong patriarchy that like it doesn't really make sense for her mom to be giving her like any advice or more advice than her dad. And like I get why you would do it because like it makes sense like in our world that like it'd be equal, but like on Krypton, from everything I've seen, it's like it's such a patriarchy. Like the father would have either just as much or more like advice to give, kind of thing. Like even her name is Kara Zor-El. Like her last name is her father's name. Like that's the way it works.
Mm.
And I mean, like maybe that's just like a geeky thing to say, but still.
I don't know. I haven't like read that many like Krypton-oriented stuff to know about that. I mean, I just think like it's uninspired to have that exact same dynamic. But okay. One more thing to complain about.
I just want to point out
David?
that we've now had our second Tumblr controversy of the week, which is 4 dudes complaining that there's not enough dudes in Supergirl.
Master Toons podcast, offending Tom Moore since 2014.
MRA forever.
Metro.
I mean, why do you even have to have like the Kryptonian like parent mentor thing? Like, I don't think it's necessary.
I mean, I tell you what. Here is a cooler idea. So, like, there is obviously this like element of the sci-fi stuff. So, there's a lot of bad guys coming in from space, right?
Mm.
Or bad girls, naughty women. So, like, how about like sometimes, like, because maybe some of these characters might steal like Krypton technology. Like maybe her mother would be like a top scientist at Krypton. And so there's like a little bit of data chips or whatever that she can find and interact with, and they only give like a very limited amount of knowledge. So like the mystery kind of like builds up, and like she gets to learn more about Krypton and herself like piece by piece. I mean, that's what's kind of like bothered me about like the Fortress of Solitude, when Superman's got like all this, he can directly talk to an AI interface. Like, why does he just sit there for hours, like trying to learn as much as he can?
Well,
It's
I mean,
like,
in a lot of stuff, like he does do that. Like in the original, like Superman the movie, like he sits in the Fortress of Solitude for like 5 years or like 10 years or something like that. Like. And then comes out and he's like, okay, I'm gonna be Superman now, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah.
I don't remember that
But to
happening.
me,
And like even in like All-Star Superman, you see him like in the Fortress of Solitude, like, yeah, I just cured cancer, like no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that does make sense. But I think like with Man of Steel and TV shows, like they're not going to do that. It's going to be like a villain of the week thing. It's like, how do I deal with this person? And like, well, you got to do this. Okay, see you next time. Like, they know all this knowledge. Like, you'll just sit there and talk. I think this would be like a nicer way of like, teasing it.
I feel you. Although, like, I think a good thing to do as like a plot device when you have that kind of like Fortress of Solitude kind of thing, like where it's just a like thing of knowledge, is kind of do like an iRobot kind of thing, where it's like you have to ask the right question, like that kind of thing. You can't just be there and like tell me everything.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that said, the other route we could take, I'm not 100% sure if this was part of a thing in the comics, but I remember in the animated series, part of Kara's history was what befell where she lived was she lived in Kandor, which eventually became the bottled city of Kandor.
Right.
So maybe, tie that into how she gets her advice somehow. Then she still got all the knowledge and peoples of the city there, but the that might be.
Why don't we write this show?
That's it.
Writing this show.
Let's start the offices.
So moving on from that, I think we should just briefly talk about her costume. I mean, personally,
Okay.
Yeah, I think her costume's okay. It's just very boring, and her belt looks terrible.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the belt.
It's literally just like a yellow strip. It's so dull. I will say, when she's flying, her cape looks really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think what makes the costume so boring is kind of went the Man of Steel muted colour route instead of the big, vibrant sky blue.
Yeah, but I think the difference between that and Man of Steel is the Man of Steel costume has some interesting textures. It's kind of got that fine chainmail thing going on.
Yeah,
and it's got more interesting belt.
Yeah.
While this costume is literally a sweatshirt and a skirt with a really boring belt.
To be fair, it's a sweatshirt. It's a very tight sweatshirt and a very short skirt. That's enough to keep. That's enough to keep a lot of nerds watching.
Yeah, but she's wearing tights, man.
So.
Yeah, I mean, what?
What's your top skirt? Right?
Supergirl. My ball. It's up that tree. Could you get it for me?
The one thing that I did like about the costume though was how they kind of went through and tried to get, and there's an evolution of the costume even within the 6 minutes. They weren't just oh yeah, okay, this is my costume. This is it.
Oh, the second costume. Yeah.
I did like the recurring joke of the cape always getting shredded.
Yeah. Oh, someone pointed out so the cape's bulletproof, and then she gets shot in the chest with a material that's not bulletproof, and it's there's no holes.
Yeah.
There's holes in the cape.
That's funny.
That makes sense.
Okay. Well, that's one thing that kind of bugged me though. Is she's oh, this is the blanket that Clark was sent here with, and then uses it as a cape. But isn't that how Superman wouldn't he use his own blanket as his cape? So why doesn't he need his cape anymore?
No, because he's probably made his own cape at this point.
Yeah, out of his own pubic hair. That's what makes him destructible.
But traditionally he uses his blanket as his cape, and if you start doing that, why would you stop? And then he obviously, I would think obviously gave it to her to use as a cape because she was having those problems. Why else would you give her your baby blanket? I don't know. And I don't. Why didn't she have her own baby blanket? I don't get it.
Because she's a woman.
Because
Fuck off.
That's because she was sent to Earth at age 12.
Okay, but still, that's gotta be chilly,
Well, what's she gonna have brought with her? Tampons, sanitary towels. Sanitary towel cape.
Oh god, don't even joke about that. They're gonna make an episode about Kryptonian PMS. That's going to be their version of the requisite Superman gets the flu episode.
Oh wow!
I can actually see them doing it.
Yeah, they
And then,
definitely will do
Sadly.
that.
And then
Yeah.
like a male character would be like, "Why are you being such a bitch?" And she'd be like, "You don't understand what it's like to be a woman." Punch straight through a concrete block.
Yeah.
That would be actually pretty fucking hilarious.
She'll have an annoying phone call at work and slam the phone down and go right through the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually would be actually pretty funny now that I think about it.
I guarantee you they will do
That
that.
actually reminds me though, like something I'm kind of disappointed with is that they did give her all of her powers just at the beginning, because I think like one of the best things about Smallville was seeing him develop his new powers, and even with like the Flash, like I've been watching it, just like binge watching it, and like over like a couple episodes, like he gets a bunch of like new, like not new powers, but like
New ways of
learns that
using
he can
them.
do certain things.
Yeah, like the arc.
Yeah, like the arms and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, and he's always getting faster. Like it's an interesting thing to like see the powers develop, you know, and then he like phases through like the truck or whatever, and you're like, oh, like yeah, like I've seen that in the comics, like that's so awesome.
Yeah. So I think we should like wrap up.
It's interesting to
Definitely,
see a character
yeah.
like
We're talking
grow
way too
into
much
the
about
character that you know, right?
Yeah.
Like I keep talking about Smallville, but like obviously there's some comparisons. But like I think it was like really smart of them to not make him like fly and to, well, like they do, but like anyhow, whatever. Not like really make him fly into like the last episode. Like it's really like satisfying to see him like finally become like the Superman that you know.
I love the way they did that as well, where it like time freezes while he's fighting Darkseid, and like all the lessons from Jor-El come, and it's finally like, I get it, my destiny. And only then can he fly. It's a neat thing.
So yeah, I think so. We need to wrap up this talk about Supergirl. Then we're going to talk about Harvey Shearer and Gem and the Holograms. So just to finish off this segment, so let's all just go around and say like one thing you want to see from this series, like for it to be good or something. You know, George, you go first.
Just if this is, I just hope this at least turns out to be like slightly passable and not as bad as the trailer was. But if it ends up being the same thing, go fine by me. I'm not watching it. I don't watch TV anyway.
Okay, David.
Supergirl upskirts, of course. Hey, no. Just think that close to Jammer Atkinson playing Supergirl.
Oh yeah, fuck me. Oh yeah, excuse me, lads. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, you should have seen that.
This is why we can't have nice things, Jack.
We can have nice things. I'd jizz on them.
I'd just like to.
Okay, that's step too far.
I'd just like to see if we get an overarching story, or if this first season is just going to be Monster of the Week. I want to see some deeper mystery involved.
Yeah. Okay, Carson?
Yeah, I agree with David. I need there to be, like, some purpose to the show. Like, with The Flash, you have, like, the man in the yellow suit, like, that mystery. And, like, on Arrow, you have, like, the Lian Yu stuff, and, like, oh, like, what was his father talking about? In Smallville, like, too many to count, like, it's crazy. But, you know, that was on for 10 seasons, so... yeah, I just need, like, something to give it weight. Like, I don't want to just watch her run around and do random stuff.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, personally, for me, I want there to be, like, subtlety with her character. So it's not just like, I'm a woman, and I'm not just a woman version of Superman. I want her to be, I want her to be her own character, and like, not have all these stupid, quirky characters that are just there to be mouthpieces for political opinions. Yeah, I want there to be like, you can have those messages, just like let it be more subtle and natural. And I want there to be creativity, like the stuff I said. Like, I don't want it just to be a standard like villain of the week with really boring morals. Like, you can do it, Supergirl, if you believe in yourself. I want
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I want it to be a bit
Accept
more.
that.
I want to be a bit more like creative with how like stuff happens. I mean, you're Supergirl. Like, you have like all the powers of Superman. Like, you can have some really interesting dynamics. Like, it's not just about you having to be necessarily get stronger. It's how you like measure your responsibilities. Prioritize and everything. I mean, that's the dynamic that Superman has, and you could easily have the same thing here. And it would be a really new, fresh dynamic rather than just like trying to learn more shit.
Like kind of because I mean, practically she could just spend all of her time like racing around the planet, stopping all crime, but like at the same time she is a person and has her own life and that kind of thing. I always think that's an interesting angle when they do that with Superman.
Yeah, I mean, like, isn't there like a Superman story where Superman destroys all the nukes in the world? I can't remember what that's.
Superman, or the question.
Superman. I love that movie.
That movie is the worst fucking comic book movie I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Listen,
Why did you have to remind me of it?
They did it in the cartoon series as well, and it was much better there. I can't remember.
I've been trying to wipe that movie from my brain for the past few months now.
The first episode of Justice League, he like destroys all the nukes, and then the aliens invade.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, I want to see something really bold like that happen. Like maybe like Supergirl like forces North Korea to abide by human rights. Like, I mean, that'll be later down the line, but I want to see like big shit like that because you can do it with that character.
One thing I do wonder if in later seasons we're going to see anything involving
really
her relationship.
Interesting.
I want to see if we're going to see anything involving her relationship with Power Girl.
Yeah, because like in some versions she is Power Girl, isn't she?
Power Girl's an alternate universe Supergirl who kind of during the what was it? The first time DC smushed everything together came about and coexisted.
Yeah, and she's got nice boobs, really nice tits.
I think it'd actually be kind of an interesting thing to do if she did like go around like, oh, I'm so powerful, like I can like heal the world, like goes around and destroys all the nukes, and then like the aliens invade and they have no way of fighting them. Like that'd be like an interesting thing. Like, oh, Kara,
Yeah. So yeah, basically, like good writing, creativity, and tits.
And ass.
And
Tits
ass.
and ass.
Tits, ass. Anyway,
Enough
of me being a freak. Bye-bye, female viewers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Carson. You've scared him off.
Yeah, he's gonna come back in like a G-string and like a little whip going. You've been a bit naughty, haven't you?
Oh God.
50 Shades of Supergirl.
I'll make her red, white, and blue. You know what I'm saying?
Wow! Did you just make a joke about beating a woman up? Are we going for broke here? Let me get my Tumblr bingo card.
Not necessarily. Not if you use your imagination.
I'm just going to paint her with white, red, and blue paint. That's all.
That's true. Union Jack body paint for Supergirl. Make her patriotic.
Oh, don't say that. You don't know a Tumblr. Okay, so moving on to some other Oh yeah, we still got Legend of Tomorrow to briefly talk about.
I thought we were going to do Harvey Shearer first to break up the superhero.
Yeah, do you want to do that then?
Yeah.
All right. So Harry Shearer is fucking leaving the Simpsons.
Oh no!
So the guy, I mean, to me, this is fucking huge. Like, he was on the show for 25 years. He voices Mr. Burns, Smithers, Principal Skinner, Flanders, Lenny.
All kinds of miscellaneous
Yeah.
voices.
He basically voices, I'd say, a good third of the cast. I think that's fair to say. So the fact that he's going, I mean, like, in the past, when someone left or, you know, died, like, Daniel Hardman, I think he's called, who played, Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz. Like, he died, so they retired the characters. Edna Krabappel, the actress died, so they retired her character. But, like, how can you do that for all these characters, you know? What do you guys think will happen?
I think to hire a couple more voice actors.
Yeah, they've pretty much announced that's what they're going to do. They're just going to hire more voice actors. Because a lot of these characters are kind of integral to the show.
So they're just going to have new voices?
Yeah.
That's going to be weird.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll try to get it kind of similar, you know, kind of like a Kermit the Frog deal, but it won't be the same.
Yeah, I mean, like, I suppose so. I mean, I would have thought they just filled up with, like, celebrity cameos. More elaborate couch gags. Try and distract you from the fact there's no Ned Flanders or Mr. Burns or anything.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, the reason why he quit was because I think he just wanted to do other things, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it kind of like, I don't know, like shows a bit of a flaw in like The Simpsons. Like, how did they think it was a good idea to give like one person that many characters? Like, it's just kind of a stupid move on their part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, like, if like one of your main stars is quitting because they're tired of it, you should probably stop doing it.
Yeah.
It's been 25 years, like.
Let it go, guys. You're having to cross over.
Who still watches The Simpsons? Like, I don't understand how it's still on.
Well, that's it. The most popular episodes are where they've had to cross over with better cartoons. Well, except for Family Guy, but yeah.
Well, the thing is like, I don't know, like, I still know people who watch Family Guy. Like, I still watch Family Guy, but I never am like, oh, look, The Simpsons is on. I'll watch that. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I still like chuckle at Family Guy and stuff. Like, every now and then, like, they actually make me laugh. But like, The Simpsons is kind of just the same old. You know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Oh, I think people have been speculating the death of Simpsons for a while, that it's just going to end up running into syndication forever.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. When your main star's quitting and you no longer have anyone involved in Spinal Tap in your show, it's time to quit.
Yeah.
If there's no more Spinal Tap in there, I don't want to know.
Like, I found I liked the Simpsons movie. Like, that was fun. Like, if they made another Simpsons movie, I'd probably go see it. But like, I'm not gonna watch it on TV. You know, it's just kind of.
It's just redundant.
Yeah, you know, and like, I don't, cause like, Family Guy is different in that it's just kind of like, you know, like jokes, and like if you like some of them, then like it's, you know, worth watching that episode. But like Simpsons is just kind of like a TV show, you know, it's just a sitcom, really. Like,
yeah,
it just kind of exists.
yeah, it's just kind of weird that like it's not special, you know, like it's not like it's different. So it's kind of weird that it's still on.
Yeah, I think it still kind of trades on the whole America's favorite family sort of momentum that it had back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the reason people still tune into it is more those that do anyway. It's rather more out of habit than necessarily any love for the more recent seasons.
Yeah.
It's
like,
kind of like
I get like syndication, and like yeah, sure, like that makes sense. Like people still watch it, but like I don't understand. Like, how are they even making new episodes? Like, how do you even have like more stories to tell with these characters? Like, it amazes me actually. Like that's a feat, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's still, I'd say some episodes are still kind of funny, but like, there's nowhere else for these characters to go. Like, you know, Bart gets a girlfriend happened like 6 times. Oh, who's that?
you're on camera.
Hello, mummy.
Sorry about that.
Wait, no, David was his mother. Who would have thought?
How about you? How about you introduce me, David?
Hey, that's fine, Jack. She'll eat you alive.
Oh, I hope so.
Although,
Yeah.
just think, how would that make you feel, though, Jack? Me calling you daddy.
Just get the newspaper in the morning. Good morning, son.
Morning, father. I see the share prices in China are down again.
What we're talking about?
Simpsons and how it's still going on and how that's an amazing feat, but we're not sure why.
And how Harry Shearer left, and I honestly don't give a shit, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
if they do get new voice actors, which seems likely at this stage, like, how they're going to sound.
It's going to be weird, because they'll never sound exactly right.
Yeah.
No matter how good an impersonation it can do, it'll never sound exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
and
of
I
a
mean,
lot of shows and stuff.
yeah, that's just kind of what happens when you're on air for 25 years, you know? It's like, I think, for me, the best example is, like, the Muppets, right? Like, they've been around so long, like, they've been through so many actors. It's just kind of the nature.
But I think with the Muppets, it kind of works because they've not been on constantly for however long for... God, how long?
I think they started in the 70s, I believe. Early
Yeah,
70s,
about-
maybe?
About 40 years, maybe? But I think that's the thing, because they're not constantly, there's not that constant stream of Muppets content. When the actors change, it's not as big a deal. It's not going to affect it so much. Whereas with this,
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing too is like the target audience is more children, so they're not really gonna notice too much. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to move on then?
Yeah.
Okay. So, should we have another... what do you want to end on? Because we've got 2 more bits of news, so we can either talk about Legends of Tomorrow next, and then Gem the Holograms trailer, or the opposite way around.
Do Legends of Tomorrow, and then we can all laugh at George freaking out.
Yeah.
Can we do Gems last?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, back to some superhero news. Legends of Tomorrow. So on the CW channel, which I keep thinking stands for Cartoon Network, even though I know it doesn't. They created two shows which share the same universe, Arrow and The Flash. Apparently there's talk of an Atom TV show, which puzzles me greatly. There's going to be a comic book series about... oh no, it's animated, isn't it?
Yes.
What?
Animated about... what's her name? What's her name, David?
The animal lady. She does the animal things.
Sheba?
Bestiality? What?
No. Not Sheba. Shit.
What are you talking about? I'm so confused.
Oh, it's this black chick. Oh, Vixen.
Vixen. There we go.
Yeah. So she can be like elephant mode and then charge like an elephant.
Oh yeah.
She's cool. She's cool. Yeah.
Wasn't she in Justice League?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although we all know why she's called Vixen.
She should be cool.
Didn't she date Green Arrow for a bit in the Justice League?
No,
Yes.
it's Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
No, Green Lantern dated Hawkgirl.
Yeah, there was a whole
Justice
thing.
League.
Yeah,
He did both of them. But anyway, so we got that. So another thing, they're world building. They're basically going to do their own like Avengers series, but Justice League series, but without Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. So it's going to be called Legends of Tomorrow, which I think is a shit name. But
it sounds like an online MMO.
yeah, that pop up, like, oh, what is this? And it'd be like a woman dressed as like a wizard in the bikini with the tits out going, ooh, come play.
What is your wish, my master?
Like, I know originally it was just going to be called Legends, which is fine to me. It's a bit boring, but better than Legends of Tomorrow. But anyway, so the plot is a character called Rip Hunter who travels back in time to the present day, and he brings a team of heroes and villains together to prevent Vandal Savage, who's an immortal villain, from destroying the world and time itself. And so the characters is really cool. So you've got the Flash, and you've got Arrow, but you've also got Firestorm and the Atom and White Canary and Supergirl. Wait.
What?
Hang on a minute. I'm looking at cast and characters, and it doesn't say Arrow or the Flash.
Yeah, they're not actually in the series. They just
What?
Yeah, they show up the first episode. They're like, "Yo, guys, we're putting together a team," and they leave because they have their own shows, right?
Fuck that shit.
Oh, I thought they were going to try and tie Arrow and Flash into it and then seg them into it as leads.
Yeah.
No, I mean, in the trailer, they're only in that one scene, so I assumed that they just get out of there.
Okay, that's annoyed me, but still.
Well, I mean, I kind of like it because they have their own things, and then the popular side characters now have because the side characters could, in my opinion, couldn't hold their own series, but together, I think that they can do it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that, but as you said before, it's good world building. It allows then for those characters to come together and for Arrow and Flash to drop in on big event story arcs like end or beginning of seasons and whatnot.
Yeah. So going through the characters, because I've seen both shows. Firestorm, which has a cool dynamic. It's actually two characters, and when he goes flame mode, he morphs, which is kind of cool. The Atom, interestingly played by Brandon Routh, who played Superman in Superman Returns.
that freaks me out.
I fucking despise. I like him as an actor, but I despise the character. He's just hipster, quirky, but oh so handsome, and he's literally a rip-off of Iron Man.
Yeah.
The Atom is supposed to be able to shrink, that's his power, but instead he's flying around in a metal suit, exactly the same as Iron Man. It's you've got to be fucking kidding me, I hate this.
Wait. Is he meant No, he's meant to be the Atom. I was thinking for a minute, was he meant to be Captain Atom?
No, he's supposed to be Ray Palmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hate him.
In the trailer, he shrinks down, so finally.
Yeah. Which I
I
liked.
wasn't
That was
dead,
good.
I was just small. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What a spoiler, too. Like,
Yeah. So
Quiet, man, I
White
swear to
To be
God.
fair, I hope Brandon Roof's character Ray Palmer. I hope they write him as a dick because Brandon Roof plays amazing dick characters.
yeah, he was awesome in Scott Pilgrim.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
He was such a dick, and it was glorious.
Yeah, move it. So White Canary, who I'm interested in, is basically Black Canary who dies in the Arrow show, but then she gets resurrected by the Lazarus Pit. So, it's in the trailer, man. so,
Yeah, actually, like, a bit of a digression, but, like, the Flash and Arrow Facebook pages are so shitty for spoilers. Like, I haven't been watching it, but I know everything that's going on because they're stupid Facebook pages.
it's true. It's true. But yeah, so like when you get dunked in the Lazarus Pit, it tends to make you go crazy. So it's going to be this really cool dynamic. So they showed her get like pumped full of arrows, and she's still alive. So it's going to be this like invincible, slightly unhinged like ninja who's got like a bit mad. I think that's going to be a cool character if they can pull that one off. Rip Hunter, I know nothing about him apart from he's being played by the guy from Doctor Who.
Yeah. Just imagine this, though. Just imagine. Rory didn't die. He was just transported into the DC universe.
I thought I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
God, it was, wasn't it?
But I think Rip Hunter, from what I remember, is like a descendant of Booster Gold, who is also a time traveler for some reason.
I was gonna say I think there's a Booster Gold link there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Which means I hope we get to see Booster Gold in this.
Yeah,
He's
I hope so
great.
too.
He's a great character who I want to see done justice in live action form. So I also get to see him and
Because he was stupid on Smallville. I hated him.
yeah, I didn't like him on Smallville either.
But he's still good in the cartoons.
Yeah, but in fact, to be honest, no, scratch that. I want to see Booster Gold and Blue Beetle get their own team-up series.
That'd be
That'd be
cool.
awesome.
Hawk Girl, who I really liked in the animated one. I thought her character was interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do, like, visually with her, because in Smallville they had Hawkman, and that was the shittiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's true.
It was pretty bad, but bear in mind that was also 10 years ago. Effects have moved on. And not to mention, all the while, every time Hawkman was on screen, all I kept thinking, all I had to say to myself, and I had to say it to not break the illusion, was, it's not Daniel Jackson. It's not Daniel Jackson.
Someone called Jay Jackson, who's a high school athlete, whose pro career derailed by an injury. Now it's an auto mechanic who doesn't even have like a Wikipedia page rather. So I don't know what that's about.
The original character? I don't
I don't know.
I was going to say, could they?
And Heatwave and Captain Cold, who is very like, I don't get why they're there. Especially Heatwave, because Heatwave is an inferior version of Firestorm.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Because if the two Firestorm guys have a bit of a tiff, then they've got no guy with heat powers otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's something in, like, the contract that they signed that, like, they have to be, like, in a lot of stuff, because, like, especially Captain Cold keeps, like, popping up in The Flash for, like, no reason. And it seems like it's just because like he was on prison break. I don't know.
Well, he is actually meant to be one of the Flash's core villains.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, like but it feels like they're kind of pushing him as like an arch villain instead of it happening kind of like more naturally within like the show. Like I get like you can't just be like, ooh, who do people like? Like you gotta like say like, okay, this is like the villains, but like they just like keep bringing him back for like no apparent reason. Like he just shows up. Like it's kind of weird.
But so yeah, I mean, I do find it strange that the villains could be there, but I'm sure it'll be explained. Whatever. The actual trailer, I mean, I thought the trailer was pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, like how they seem to be like jumping around in time a bit. Like
that's gonna be cool. There was the obligatory shitty TV CGI though. Like that robot foot goes like.
Yeah.
Like, cringe.
Although what I did think was cool is when you saw all the characters in the tunnel, and if you pause it, you can see characters like you can see Speedy, you can see I think you can see Duff, you can see all sorts of characters in that scene if you pause it.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out again.
Yeah, I assume it's Speedy. It's someone with a bow and arrow dressed in red.
Yeah.
Oh, Arsenal. Yeah. Well,
Arsenal, yeah.
I don't know, whatever. But yeah. So, what do you guys think then?
I think
I
it'll be
like
pretty cool.
Yeah, I like both TV shows, so like I think this one should be pretty good.
Yeah, The Flash is definitely the superior one, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Although I really liked like the second season of Arrow, and then it just kind of got shitty all of a sudden, and I stopped watching. So like I don't really know what's been happening.
What,
like,
you mean
the Flash is so good, like I can't even handle it.
What, you're saying the third season of Arrow is shitty?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, because like there was like the Deathstroke stuff, like that was so good, and like
yeah,
just didn't get good again after the finale.
Yeah.
And even like the second half of like the first season was pretty good, but yeah.
Also, apparently in The Legend of Tomorrow, there is if you pause it at the correct bit, it's out of focus, but there is the helmet of the original Flash, Jay Garrick.
Oh, Jay Garrick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you think they're gonna go into like different dimensions?
Yeah. I was talking with a friend about this the other day, about whether or not in the Flash they are going to do the entire Flash family thing. So you're going to get Jay Garrick, Bart Allen, Wally West, and Barry Allen all together.
Well, they must do, because they've got that time travel dynamic in this. There's going to be some shit with that, some shenanigans.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of it's a little brave of them to do that, but I like it. You know, working well so far.
Yeah, I mean, there is this picture. This must be from the first episode, but it does have the Flash in it with them in like a combat situation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's in fully the first episode and then has to abandon them.
Yeah.
As you guys pointed out. Oh, I hate the Atom so much. He's shit.
White Canary looks wicked.
Yeah, I know. White Canary looks so cool.
Kind of Power Ranger-y, but like still good.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that's kind of the funny thing. I think it kind of ties in. DC are pushing the movies as all these serious, dark, gritty things. Whereas I think the TV series they're putting out are way better because they're just willing to embrace all the goofy shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're still able to keep it a dark tone, but embrace the goofiness and the silliness of it all.
Well, I think that's the problem with Arrow, is like they've brought in a lot more of like the goofy stuff, but still tried to keep it like more serious.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work.
Exactly.
Like with the Flash, like it's a bit like more.
It's
It's a
totally
lighter
inconsistent.
tone. You know, it's a lighter tone, so like you kind of forgive it more, I guess. Like it fits more. Like even Grodd, like I thought that was wicked. They had Gorilla Grodd in an episode. Like it worked so well. Like
Yeah.
it's the stupidest thing. Like it's a giant gorilla in the sewers who has telepathy, but
Yeah.
like it worked for some reason.
Yeah. Going back to White Canary, Bleaker, I was just gonna say, have you guys seen Torchwood?
Yes.
Like,
No.
No, I have not.
because there's a character in it who dies and then comes back to. I'm not talking about Jack Harkness. There's another character who dies and he comes back, and there's this like really great dynamic where he can't die, but like his bones and stuff remains broken. And
Yeah.
he just doesn't really care, or at least for a bit he doesn't care so much about his own body.
I can't think of the actor's name, but Carson George, you guys have seen Pacific Rim, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The British scientist in that.
With the cane.
Oh, the one with the
Yeah.
cane.
Yeah, him. That's the actor.
Oh
we're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Okay,
Oh my God!
Kind of Asian,
Wait.
right?
Yeah, by the way, Torchwood, the first series isn't particularly good, but the second series is really good in the third series, so if you guys like your sci-fi, get
Yeah, well, you know, it's like because they had the crossover episodes with Doctor Who, and it looked super wicked, but I just kind of was like, I don't feel the need to watch it. I don't know.
It's good. It's really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Mhm.
I heard that it's a bit more adult than Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It's very clear in the first episode. It's really try hard. So there's a lesbian kiss, and it's make sure.
Oh, but come on, no. First episode of the second season is even try harder, where they have the guy who plays Spike from Buffy, Captain Jack kiss. That is just you've just done that to get fangirl clicks. Come on, guys, have some fucking dignity here. Fucking Russell T Davis. I know you're gay. I know you won't queer as folk. I know you wrote that because you wanted to see it. But come on, we all know it. We all know why you really did it, and it's for the fangirl clicks.
One for the wank bank. So yeah, I'd love to see that kind of dynamic.
Damn it!
So there'll be bullets flying everywhere, and all these characters are oh shit, we're fucked. And there's one character who gives a shit? It's kind of just walks through it, poof. I think that'd be really cool to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so it's what do you want to see from it, and then we'll do our final news bit because it's getting quite late.
I just
I don't
want
know, just it being good.
so many shootouts and shit, and so much tension within the group, and then just a really big finale where something happens that affects everything in the universe, and it just changes everything. And I want it to be one season long. I don't want it to be more than one season.
It's probably going to be at least 2, I think.
Yeah, I reckon we'll get 2 out of it.
Yeah. David, would you?
To be honest, I just want to see a good show. The setting's already promised so much. It's all they need to do is just don't fuck it up. That's all I'm going to ask of them. Just don't fuck this up, guys.
Yeah. George.
Yeah. I don't watch. I haven't watched Arrow or Flash but I might check this out if I get the time. I mean, it looked like it could be pretty good, but I don't know. Again, I don't watch many TV shows nowadays.
Well, then your opinion is worthless.
Why are you even on this podcast if you don't watch TV?
Yeah.
That kind of brings up an interesting point, I think, though, is how accessible will it be to people who haven't watched Arrow and The Flash?
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's also maybe part of the reason they're not going to have Arrow and Flash in it all that often.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, what I want to see is like, I don't think it'll be this, but if they try and make it like so they're as dysfunctional as possible, because you got like, these heroes and villains, like slightly psychotic people in there. So like they get asked to like do a job, like oh you have to stop this guy from fucking up time, and then they themselves like through their own chaos like just fuck time up even more. So like the Heatwave, because he's kind of like a stupid like grunt, he'll see like they'll go back in time and he'll see like a relic and be like yeah I'll grab that. So he grabs that, and then they go back in to the present day and they've completely fucked everything up.
Oh, you're pretty funny.
And then Rip Hunt's like, what the fuck have you guys done? It's like, oh, that guy stole it, and then like punches him in the face. And...
Yeah, because like
you have to go
when
put
you
it
go through the character list, like all of the characters are kind of like shitty people, so it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I just want to see them like fuck up all the time.
Yeah, like even Firestorm, who's probably like I would argue the best like morally out of them. Like, because the Doctor's kind of a dick, so like even that.
Yeah. So I mean that's what I just want it to be like some really funny, like not just like they're all the same. I want some really funny dynamics. And then like you said, Carson, I reckon there's gonna be some interesting stuff with Captain Cold and the other guy like being more mischievous with their deeds.
Yeah, because like even in the Flash, like I just watched the episode where like they go to him and they try to like get him to help, and then he ends up like fucking them over, and he was like, well, hey, you owe me one now. You know, like I feel like there's more going on.
Yeah.
So shall we move on to our final news articles?
Just what if?
Yeah, definitely.
What if like Captain Cold becomes like the ruler of the galaxy by the end of the series?
Who becomes?
Like Captain Cold becomes like the ruler of the galaxy through like time travel.
He calls the entire period the Ice Age. Just like his entire reign, that's all.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Oh god.
Right. On that note, we're going to do our final article. And this is going to piss a lot of people. I mean, like, I'll be honest with you.
Hold on. Okay, I just want to get some earplugs. I don't want to be subject to the screaming.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never even, like, seen Gem of the Holograms. Like, I vaguely know what it is. And I was really annoyed when I watched the trailer. That's how shit it is. So, there's this Gem of the Holograms.
It's not that bad, come on.
I'm going to get into it. Well, hold on. Let me introduce the segment first. Alright. So, Gem of the Holograms, from what I gather, is an 80s animated TV series.
Yep.
What is it about, David? Fill me in.
It is about Gem and her holographic band of holograms and their misadventures in stopping crime lords and drug barons, while also foiling their rival band, the Misfits. And Gem, who's also a fashion icon and has an ongoing romance.
Okay.
And doesn't she like use her earrings to like transform into Gem?
I think, what do they call it? It's like Dazzle Power or something. And it is one of the most 80s things you will ever see, and it is truly outrageous. Truly, truly, truly outrageous.
So that's what I gathered from it, right? Like, you know, G.I. Joe, whatever, like really 80s. And then I see the trailer for Gem and the Holograms, and it's like the most realistic, down-to-earth, borderline gritty things I've ever seen. So there's no holograms in it at all. It's basically a normal band.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing I don't get. They basically had the most 80s show possible, and they're fucking trying to remake Almost Famous.
Yeah, it's just this very generic, like rags to riches kind of story through music.
It seems like
Yeah.
a TV movie more than anything, like something that like Nickelodeon would make.
And it's just like, what the fuck? It's Gem and the Holograms, like, the original source material, right? I mean, the Speed Racer movie, like, I thought it was bad, but
Yeah.
at least it was trying to be like the source material, was trying to be like faithful.
Wait, I've not watched that cast. Did you think it was bad or good and bad?
I laughed a lot during it because how stupid some bits were.
That's alright.
I fucking love.
Yeah, like
I fucking love it.
Like,
to be honest.
is like an okay action movie, but like overall, it's just what the hell is going on?
So
Shut up! It's a fucking classic.
So interestingly, the director is called John Chu. It's actually quite hard to
beforehand directed.
Step Up
Beforehand
2.
directed
Step Up 2.
both Justin Bieber documentaries and G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Yeah.
What?
Wait.
Retaliation
How
was
do
like
you
an okay like movie. Like, how do you?
more to the point? How do you go from Justin Bieber documentaries to G.I. Joe Retaliation? What? Piss off!
It wasn't like a bad movie. Like, that's so surprising to me.
Who's trying to destroy his career? He must have pissed someone off at the studio.
Well, do you think Justin Bieber is gonna be in Gem and the Holograms?
What watch
I
me?
really hope he has a cameo.
That was gonna be funny as fuck.
They're getting like really famous, and then like they've made it when they're like in the same room as Justin Bieber. Like,
Oh no.
they like go like no, just imagine like this would totally fit in the movie. Like they go to a party and they're like having fun, and they're like, oh my gosh, Justin Bieber is here, and he like walks in. He's like, hey Jem, what's going on? They're like, oh, nothing much. He's like, wicked, and then like walks away. It's gonna be in the movie. Just watch.
Yeah, so yeah, it's fucking awful. Like, you could have had this like crazy ass movie, which would have been really fun to watch, but instead it's this generic schlock.
Did anyone think it was gonna be good though?
What was that line? It's like, I don't want to be a gem anymore or something.
Yeah.
To be fair though, I want to take lines out of this trailer, just completely out of context, and just put them over Steven Universe pictures.
Yeah.
Spoiler for next episode. Watch the
It's
internet go insane.
It hurt me to watch the trailer a little bit, but like I can't imagine being someone who had any expectations for this movie, because like I had none and I was insulted by it. Like,
Yeah.
It looks fucking harmless.
it just looks like nothing. It looks like who is going to go see it? Like,
That's the thing, George. Yes, it looks harmless, but it also looks nothing like the source material. Let's face
it's
it.
not even that. Like, just like as a movie, it just does not look good. It looks horrible.
Yeah.
It looks like it could be moderately like passable in that regard. Like it doesn't look anything like good, but I don't see like people like despising this or anything.
George.
I disagree. It
George.
looks worse than like those Hilary Duff like romantic comedies that came out in the mid 2000s. Like,
No. It looks worse than the Olsen twin movies.
yeah,
It looks like
Okay, that's a bit far.
it looks worse than Material Girls, and I'm just gonna put that in there.
it looks like one of those like
Material Girls.
it looks like one of those YouTube parodies where like the
Yeah.
Power Ranger one where they make it like super serious as a joke.
Yeah.
But this is real. Like I think
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you told you, oh, someone this really funny video, but the Holograms movie on YouTube, and you watched it, you'd laugh your ass off. And then he turns around and says, "Oh, it's a real movie."
I think that's my problem with it, though, is, like, I wouldn't even laugh at it. Like, it doesn't even look, like, funny bad. It just looks like the most generic, not fun time at the movies I could ever imagine.
In fact, to be honest, replace the characters' names with Hannah Montana and a backing band. Would it actually change anything?
No.
No, you'd think it was
I
Hannah Montana.
I actually got a massive Hannah Montana vibe from it, believe it or not. And I should know, I watched I cannot believe I'm saying this. I actually watched a lot of Hannah Montana when I was a kid.
Well, George, we don't all have standards when we were children. I did, but clearly you didn't.
Hi!
But yeah, it just looks like it's not gonna be good. Like, it doesn't even look
Entertaining.
like, I think it's my problem with it is, like, it doesn't even look horrible. It doesn't even look like a train wreck. It's just so nothing. Like, it's just there, and it makes me angry that they didn't, like, try
In
do
fact,
anything.
you know what? I'm going to say it. Just going off the trailer, I'd rather watch Josie and the Pussycats than this.
I've heard that joke. Yeah.
I really would.
Suppose that doesn't even look that bad.
Oh, it's bad. It's hilariously bad. You'll hate it because you hated Scooby-Doo. But Josie and the Pussycats was hilariously bad.
I mean, I've seen the Blockbuster Buster review of it, and it didn't make me angry watching it, like some clips of the movie. It looks okay, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought, George, I don't think you've seen enough like generic movies like I have.
It's just like, who was like, oh, like, we need to make this movie? Because, like, it has no vision. There's no, like, direction that it's going in.
I will bet everyone here right now £10. It's about $13.50. That they had the script first and then got the license for Gem and the Holograms and decided to attach the name to the script.
That makes sense.
That honestly wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And, like, who's the target audience for this? Because, like, I can't picture anyone wanting to go see this movie.
I might check it out of, like, curiosity's sake.
Like, even...
Not
Oh,
like
fuck you, you contrarian
It's
bastard.
obviously not for, like...
I'm not gonna pay money to see this, possibly online or something like that. I don't know, but I am not paying money for it.
Like, but, like, let's just, like, go through. Like, it's obviously not for, like, little kids. It's not for, like, maybe, like, preteens and teens, like, but I don't think they would go to see it. And then, like, it's not for, like, the people who grew up with Gem and the Holograms.
I'll tell you exactly who it's for, and it's the same market Crossroads was for, and it's for a very specific demographic. Crossroads, by the way, the Britney Spears movie, just so we're all on the same page. It's for 13 to 14-year-old girls who think they're too grown up for kids stuff anymore, but don't quite want to sit through boring adult stuff. They want characters who are relatable, and by relatable, I mean 20 like 8-year-old actresses playing 15-year-old girls.
But like, even those people, like I'd say, like, they're trying to go after those people, like the Twilight crowd, like that kind of stuff. But like, I don't see them being interested in this because there's nothing interesting about it. Like, there's no conflict. It's just like, oh, I'm like really famous and like I'm forgetting who I am, but oh no, now I remember who I am. But like, it's not Like it just seems like so much of a TV movie for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if this makes like its budget back, to be like honest, but maybe I'm being harsh on it. I don't know.
I don't
To be
think it's
fair,
gonna be.
looking at the trailer, you're assuming it even had a budget. It's looking at that trailer, that looked low budget as all else.
Well, hey, since it's low budget, it'll easily get the money back.
Like the AVGN movie looks better, and that was made for $300,000.
Oh, definitely.
Now I'm interested to see how much it was made for. It was made for $5 million. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's going to make its budget back.
Yeah.
What, Joe and the
And then
Holograms?
Yeah.
And then we'll get a genuine hologram style franchise.
We won't, because it'll barely make its budget back.
How can you barely make a budget back of like $5 million?
Very easily.
I can see this being in the theaters for like a week and then going to the
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it'll do poorly on opening. It might make about, I'd probably say, 3 million domestic. And then probably it'll make its budget back on DVD sales over the long run.
Yeah, maybe they'll have a directed video sequel.
Oh god.
And watch this, the direct-to-DVD sequel will actually be about Jen and holograms and fighting crime lords.
Isn't that all?
Yes,
No way.
it's sad time.
You know, George, I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna rip this movie apart.
Yeah.
I don't. It's Gem and the fucking holograms. Who the fuck cares at this point?
Well,
The movie doesn't look like any good. Like, it doesn't look good. I'll admit that. But I just don't see like this movie like caring at all. So I don't see why I should care. Like, this is gonna bomb easily. So why should I get worked up about something that I'm not even going to go be seeing and not even going to be successful?
Okay, but you said like it didn't look that bad. You're like,
Just because I say something doesn't look that bad, just because I say something doesn't look that bad, doesn't mean I think it does look bad. I'm saying it doesn't look horrible, but it doesn't look good.
Okay.
I think it. Forget it.
I gotcha.
So you're basically with us, Sue, that it looks nothing. There's no substance to this, even in a bad way. It's not
Pretty
even
much.
massively bad. I mean, at least you can say that about movies like The Room or The Human Centipede, The Minion
At
Centipede.
least, yeah, like at least with those movies, like there was a vision, you know. There was like like the people making them wanted to do it, you know. It just doesn't.
Yeah, someone involved was trying to make an artistic statement. With this, it's not an artistic statement. It's just clearly a product.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with like product movies. Like I eat the Fast and Furious franchise up. Like that's not art at all. But like it has like a vision and somewhere it's trying to go, you know, like at least it's trying to make money, you know, like this doesn't even seem like it cares. Like it's like, yeah, maybe we'll make a few bucks. Like, you know, why is it even getting a theatrical release?
Do you want to know what, actually? I guarantee... I said before, I'm going to add an extension to what I said. I think the studio that owns the rights doesn't want anyone else to have the rights to it as a property yet. So, in order to retain the rights, they have to get a property out. They had a kind of a script of, like, floating around about young girls becoming celebrities. Boom, we attach the name to it, we've put a product out, we'll get to keep the rights for another 20 years.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I would,
actually. It explains why it has such a low budget.
yeah, I would not be surprised if that's the only reason this has been put out.
Yeah. And then maybe they get a new TV show out of it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway,
To having a TV show.
yeah. Well, I think in conclusion, it looks like it's going to suck. Donkey novels.
But everyone's just gonna forget about it in a couple, maybe like a month or so.
Yeah.
Again, it's gonna leave no impact. It's just there.
It was really funny though, seeing like all the people like on Facebook who like don't, follow like the industry or anything. Because like a couple months back when they like announced that they were making the movie, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I'm so excited! I loved this cartoon as a kid." And like now they're all like, "Oh no, what have they done?"
Isn't that kind of the situation where like most end up
like, "Oh, I'm still so excited to see this crappy movie."
But to be fair, with the resurgence in popularity of stuff like Transformers, I mean, the G.I. Joe films were moderately successful. You would expect them to try and do something at least in line with the original show.
Like, I was expecting them to at least try. I didn't think it was going to be good. It's like, it's a stupid concept.
Yeah, I don't think anyone had any expectations it would ever be good. But at the very least, it could have been cheesy, harmless fun. Instead, it looks just like Drek.
Yeah.
It just looks like mindless, meaningless drivel.
Just like, it makes me sad to watch. I'm like, who did they get to direct this? I know who they did, but like before I knew, I was like, I feel so bad for them. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I feel depressed now. Thanks, Carson.
The movie is so apathetic.
I'm gonna go hang myself.
Anyway.
Wait. Oh, go on. I was just gonna put my dibs on Georgie's stuff if he's hanging himself.
I was just gonna call time.
All right. I think this has been a 2-hour-long cast at this point.
Yeah, stupidly long, man.
All right. Well, if you want to call time, then.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've run out of things to talk about here now. It's 2 in the morning for me.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, I mean, thank you for a very long Master Toons podcast, everybody. Next week, I don't know what the plan is. Like, I kind of fucked things up myself because I've had presentations and stuff. But maybe
we'll sort stuff out for next week. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when you guys want to do Transformers.
I think
that's fun.
I think if you guys don't mind, I'd rather leave that till tomorrow night because it's 2 a.m. here.
I don't want to do it tonight anyway. Yeah.
Same.
I haven't watched it yet. So.
Well, there you go. Something for you to do tomorrow. Or later tonight because it's still early for you guys.
The Brown Grudge. That's what you're like. My roommate keeps saying I've got a face like Thomas the Tank Engine.
No, you look more like Percy.
I knew you'd get a laugh out of that. It's the cheeks. It's the cheeks. Let's go pull some trains.
You know what's so scary? The new Thomas the Tank Engines, like, they actually, like, talk. I'm like, what? Well, actually, it's probably less scary than the old ones.
I was never creeped out by the old ones. I don't get what people are on about.
It's just,
I've never seen
really weird how they, like, talk and don't move their face, and then it cuts back, and they have a different expression on it.
I don't know. I mean, did you guys... Because I'm not sure what it was like in America, because I know you guys got a different dub than us. I know you got the Ringo Starr ones, but I don't think you had Michelangelo like we did afterwards. So, in the UK, no one ever directly talked. It was all told through narration. So it's like the Fat Controller said, blah, blah, blah. And Thomas said...
It was... There's different ones, but yeah, like, I've seen both. But, like, it's still scary, like, how, like, they're, like, smiling, and then, like, they cut back, and it's like it's the strangest thing.
To be fair, kind of like Google Hangouts. You got us on the main thing, just like, yeah, and then George will scream, and we'll just go, "Ah!"
Yeah. And, like, they were so animated. Like, when they were scared, they were like...
I can see it. I can see how it freak kids out when they get surprised and their eyes spin round really fast.
Yeah.
Although that said, have you seen the? There's £300. It's about $450, $450. Thomas the Tank Engine model railway things that actually have moving eyes.
Ah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and that was the other weird thing. Like they'd be like worried and be like it's weird. Anyhow.
Damn the face. Anyway, might see you guys tomorrow then.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Boop, boop.
This has been the Master Toons podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, engines. Goodbye.
You've been a really useful engine, Jack.
That's what your mum says. You should have seen the steam that came out of her.
Nice one.
It's funny because your mum jokes don't bother me.
It was like a clam. It was like steamed clams.
Oh, that's fine. I wondered why my shirts look ironed. And smell fishy.
So, why don't we stop broadcasting now?
Press the button. Oh.